Okay. Hi, guys. It's Debbie Lively again from Lively View. I have an incredible guest here for you guys today who are going to answer some of our home building questions, just like I have. I've shared with you guys many, many times that, I intend to build in Ghana, with my partner. And I've always had questions about how to build, who do I trust, where to build, what the process is. And hopefully our guest today will be, not hopefully, I'm sure she will be able to answer a lot of our questions, a lot of my questions, and I know I have the same questions that you have. So I'm going to let her introduce herself, and then we will just talk about building in Ghana. Okay?
Thank you for having me. My name is Samyra Setrana, and I am a part owner with my husband, Freeman Setrana, of Ghana House Plans. I'm sorry, can you stop this? I'm sorry, can you start over?
Yeah, keep
I
going.
just realized I'm trying to.
Keep going. I do this all the time. We want the information. That's it. You're
Okay.
perfect. We just want the information.
All right. Well, my name is Samyra Setrana, and I am the owner of Ghana House Plans, along with my husband.
All right. Girl, you good. You good. So tell us a little bit about Ghana House Plans. What you
Okay,
guys do?
well, Ghana House Plans is a company that what we do is we um, sell house plans, we build houses in Ghana, but we also help people purchase land. So it came about through our own personal experiences where we were purchasing our own land, and we ran into some difficulties with property having already been sold to other people by different chiefs. And what we found out was this was a common practice. And so we had to learn how to purchase land correctly. And we had to go through all the red tape and the hurdles, and going through the land commission and finding out if this property was actually for sale and if it was something that we could actually purchase, right? And so in doing that, we created a process that we just realized that other people may be interested in taking our pain and learning from our experiences, and then making it easier for them to purchase property in Ghana. Okay. And so once we help our clients purchase the land, they can either just stop there with us, or they can purchase a house plan from us. And we've had several people, African Americans as well as Ghanaians from all over the country and then all over the world, purchase house plans from us. And they use those plans to build in Ghana, but then also in other tropical climate areas, because it's conducive for any tropical climate. And once they purchase a house plan, they can continue with us and we can build for them, or they can take it if they already have a builder for them that they've worked with in the past, or someone that they already know. They can give those plans to their builder. And all of our plans are created by Ghanaian architects. And so they work with us. They know what the requirements are, and it's totally different from what we would have to have here in the U.S. So we trust them in those. That's pretty much the process, and that's what we do. So we provide a service for those who are interested in either building communities or building their own house. A lot of Ghanaians have had property that are kind of, it's just like sitting there because they're looking for a plan. Okay.
Okay, hang on, Samyra. I just lost you for some reason. Okay, I lost you for just a second.
Okay.
Oh, what's going on? Okay, keep talking. I can hear you now. I'm not sure what that was just about. Okay, go ahead.
So that's basically the process. And like I said, many Ghanaians that we know, or people who have wanted to build, may have already purchased land. So they're just looking for a plan. And so that's what we provide as well. So there's several different services.
Okay.
Even on our website, you could also purchase a house that's already built. One of my brothers over there, Ruben Setrana, he handles that department, and would be able to meet anyone who was coming into the country and show them the new property, things like that. So it kind of provides an easy way.
So he shows them land. Is that am I understanding you correctly?
Yes, he can show them the land, or he can show them actual buildings that are already built that people were selling, because we also provide that service too.
Yeah, it's so funny because I've heard one other person online talking about that. Like that was another option for people if they wanted to go in, like, because I guess a lot of people start building projects and aren't able to complete them, and then they want to sell them. Is that the sort of thing that you guys help with, or is that?
Yes, that's true. Lots of times, because the way houses are built over there, you pay as you go. So there is a credit system, but people were still trying to veer away from it, because when you finish building your house in Ghana, if you do it the Ghanaian way, once your house is finished, it's paid for. And so that's one of the things that we also try to encourage people to do, to pay as you go.
Okay.
Because your house is paid for, it's yours.
Right.
Right. And no one can take it from
the US, right? So
right. Absolutely. So there are properties where some people have started and then they decide to sell where they left off, or they have built the whole house and then they decided to sell it, instead of, maybe things have changed, maybe they can't get back or whatever. So those are different options. My brother there will can take people to see certain pieces of property that we have available on our website. And then our other brother, Kwame Manasseh Setrana, who's there, he also handles like on the ground. So if somebody comes and they want the land, he can take you to the land and take you to the different areas, as well as oversee your project. So he oversees the projects that happen over there. So when we're building,
you're breaking up again. Please stop. Uh-oh. Go ahead. Hang on a second, Samyra. You just went out again. I'm not even sure why this is happening. I've never done this before, and you're giving me problems. Okay, keep going. You know what?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell us about the process? Like, if someone was to hire, you guys hire your company, Ghana House Plans, what would be the process? Like, if I wanted you to help me from, A to Z, from the beginning of the process to the end, what would that look like?
Well, it depends on, first off, what it is that you want. So if you just want to buy a plan and build, then the first part is you need to decide on what that plan is. Okay. So you go to our website, Ghana House Plans, and then you would decide on the plan that you want.
And tell us what the website is again. Tell us what that is.
GhanaHousePlans.com.
Okay. Pretty simple. Okay.
Yes. And so you would go there, you would choose, you would select your plan. If you wanted a straight plan, a lot of them are digitalized. You can actually download it once you purchase it. If you wanted to alter it in any way, we would come into negotiations with that and decide on any changes to the price. Most of them are just straightforward. The price is on the website. But if you do need to alter it in ways to accommodate, an additional bathroom or additional bedroom, then we would make those changes for you. And once we've agreed on the prices with the architects, because that money is going to go towards them, then you can purchase the plan once they've drawn up the new plans, right? And so if you then decide that you want to continue with us and you already have your land, it's been secured, we will also make sure that we won't start breaking ground on land that has already been sold by someone else. And in order to do that, in order to build on it, we would have to obtain the permits that were required to build on that property. And then if that is legit and it's legitimately your property, then we would move forward with the building.
And you guys actually go and check the permits? Your company checks it, or am I, as the home or potential home builder, responsible for checking those permits?
So if you already have your own property, we would verify to make sure that we, in order to obtain the permits, we would have to verify that information to make sure so that we're not building upon someone else's land.
Okay, so you're not going to just take my word for it. You're going to actually go.
No, we're not going to take your word for it. Okay. Unless you purchased it from us and we did the due diligence on our own to obtain the proper documentation from the land commission, that's different. But if you're just coming up to us and say, hey, yeah, we got this, blah, 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 and we need you to build on it, and then we're like, no, we need to check it out because yeah.
That makes sense. Okay. Did I stop you in the process? Did you explain it all?
No, that's fine, because it protects you as a client. It also protects us as well,
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you what I know a lot of people are thinking, because I'm definitely thinking. And I know it's subjective in terms of what a person, what their project is or what their plan is. Like, what's the cost of a typical project from beginning to end? Like, say if I wanted to build a 3-bedroom home, I've already secured my land. And I know the plans vary because I've been all over you guys' website, but what's like typical, or what's in the medium?
Well, I would say typically most people are buying between mostly 5-bedroom homes, and they cost maybe about $350,000. I would say 300,000, for a 5-bedroom home. Most of those 5-bedroom homes have a bathroom as well, and the square footage is, starting at 3,000 square feet here. So it's well worth it. Because it also, it varies with the supplies, and the materials that you choose to use, but all of the materials are from Ghana. The only things that we import would be by the request of the client. For instance, they wanted an American tub or something like that, or American. That would be upon, that's based off of something that they want. But for the most part, all of the building materials for the houses are from Ghana. Like the doors, the wood is all from Ghana. It's not the hollow doors that we use in our bedrooms here in America. Solid wood doors. The craftsmanship is second to none. Honestly, we don't use drywall. The bricks and the blocks is made with stone. The floors are marble. I mean, because of the moist climate, you don't want a whole lot of wood unless you treat it properly. And if you do want that, then it's still crafted with a wood that's from Ghana. So it's not like anything that's imported, and we use Ghanaian employees. We don't bring in anyone else on the outside. So.
Okay. Okay. So the 350 is typically for, like you said, a 5-bedroom.
A 5-bedroom. I mean, so something less than that. We do have some that are like 3-bedroom, and those would be less, like maybe 100,000. You can get your dollar will go a lot further, for what you would get and the quality of what you would receive. Because here, for 350,000. Here, you would still not have the same quality. It's not completely brick. You know what I'm saying? You've got siding, you've got a lot of artificial things that are, used to build it. And then they're wood frames, whereas we don't use wood frames there. There's it's a solid stone and brick and blocks.
Okay. So the 350,000 would get the house built from start to finish if I have my own land. I'm just trying to get people like dollar wise.
Well, in some instances, it would include, if you were purchasing the plan from us, that price would be added into your building part.
Okay. So is the actual plan as well.
Yes, the plan is included with that.
Okay. Awesome. What are you guys working on right now? Do you have a house that you're building right now in Ghana? I'm just looking.
Well, right now we're building some personal properties.
About 1 or 2 of those that you think might be interesting.
It's more modern. It's a more modern, and a lot of the newer designs would are reflective like of more of the condo style houses here, but they're wider. So I would. It's kind of hard to explain because it's not a typical design that we would see here.
Uh-huh.
But it's 3,000 square feet,
Uh-huh.
five bedrooms, 4.5 baths. Most of the bedrooms have like a small terrace attached to it, and it's set up. Most of our houses, well, when in Ghana, any house that you build in Ghana, you're going to have a wall around it for security
Yeah.
purposes, and you usually have a wide open yard for cars.
Mhm.
This particular design does have a garage attached to it.
Uh-huh.
However, the yard is conducive. I mean, it's large enough for like several other cars if you had people visiting.
Right.
And then uh, grass and all of the other stuff that you would add to beautify the property. So this particular piece is kind of like we're going to have two identical houses there because it's
Mhm.
going to be a family compound,
Okay.
which would accommodate two houses that were 3,000 square feet.
And what area is that in, if you don't mind me asking?
That's in the metro. When I was almost at a metro Atlanta, but it's in the metro Accra area. So
Okay.
really, pretty much into the city. Um,
Okay.
and so it's it's it was the choice was to have it in the city because we have family that are like a little bit outside of the city, and most
Mhm.
of them live by the airport. So the choice was to try to keep everybody close.
Okay. And I don't know if we mentioned, I don't know if we were talking about this before or before we start recording, but I don't know if you said that if you guys don't know, she's married to a Ghanaian. So I don't know if we mentioned that during the
Yeah.
recording or not. More people
Well,
know,
the
but
last name is a giveaway. The first name is slightly confusing, but
okay, all right, awesome. What else? You know what? Here, this is something I've always been curious about that people do in Ghanaian houses. People, they always seem to have that gating at the windows. Do you guys do that? Factor that in for your plans? I mean, my envision when I go to Africa, because I'm like, okay, I'm in a natural setting. I really don't necessarily want gate, you know, fencing or whatever they want to call it, like up to my windows. But I know the majority of the people do that, right?
I mean, it's a common practice. Most of the houses have them, and
Uh-huh.
of course, it depends on how big your compound is. If you have a security gate, um, that's a secure gate, and if you also have someone who's at a security post, so it depends. I mean, there are ways to do it that look, you know, a little bit more appeasing to our eye, appealing to our eye as Americans, because we see that and we think, oh, this is a bad neighborhood. And that's not necessarily
Exactly.
the case. The thing is, it's their way of security. You don't have security systems like you do here. And you
Uh-huh.
don't have police like you do here, that if you
Wow.
call 911, somebody's coming right away.
Mhm.
So it's basically their security system,
Right.
and most people do it, and so it's so common that no one thinks that it's taking away the value, whereas here that would definitely take away the value of a house.
Right.
But if you have this big huge compound, you're not even taking that in consideration. It's just that's your security, right?
Right.
You don't have it on you don't typically have it on the higher floors, and that's one of the things that people are doing as well. They're building up
Uh-huh.
because the higher you get, the less likely somebody's coming into your house.
Right.
But for the most part, crime is not a big issue.
Uh-huh.
Even while we were there, I mean, several times. I mean, it's just like any place else. You have to know where to go and you know how
Right.
to behave and conduct yourself, and you have to be aware of your surroundings. However, it's a great country and safe,
Mhm.
um, and but again, the bars is usually just everybody does it. And
Yeah,
that's,
yeah.
you know.
What were you trying to figure out? And that's when it was time for us to build, I was going to try to figure out some way to minimize that because I'm like such a nature buff, and I'm like, I'm going to be in Africa. I want to see everything green, as much as I possibly can at
Mhm.
all times. That's just kind of how I am. All right. All right. You know what? I do have a financial question for you. Like, so how would, and you mentioned this in our talk before I started
Mhm.
recording. So like, if I wanted to work with you guys, like, how would I pay for that? You know what I mean? I know you mentioned like a lot of Ghanaians, have been historically like sent money to family to do the building process, but you guys have figured out a kind of a way to do that, do
Mhm.
it a little differently in terms of financing a project. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Based off our own experiences, we avoid putting money into somebody else's hand. We
Right.
give it directly to the company. So that would be us, and it goes to an American banking system, our bank, for our company. And then we also have an account for our company in Ghana, and so that money is then transferred there, and we pay the people on the ground accordingly. So it's not going and transferring hands of
Okay.
individuals per se, but it stays safely within the American banking system until it's transferred to the Ghanaian banks that we have set up, and the accounts that we have set up and established there. And that was just one of the best ways that we found to be able to secure money. And then, you have to come and pick up a check for X amount of dollars or whatever to be able to take care of different portions. So, for instance, if you are building your house and you are paying as you go, which is something that is suggested, and one of the things that we try to promote, because once you are finished once your house is built, then it's paid for 100%. And that's the Ghanaian way. Now, of course, they are trying to implement a lot of credit and different things like that. We're still trying to veer people away from that per se. I mean, you can do that if that's your choice. However, financial freedom is something that we're trying to promote in those that come over from here to Ghana to invest in the community that you're going to be a part of. So you want to be financially secure for one. And so
Okay.
if you're paying as you go, you would just pay in installments. And then we would pay the people on the ground, for this particular portion that they're going to work on, and pay the workers for their service.
Okay. Okay. So then I would pay you all, right? And then I would pay you all, and then you guys you would funnel the money through to your bank in Ghana and pay the employees, the people there. Right.
Yes.
Okay. All right. And then like in that process, do I know like exactly like, so when I hand you over a check, say if I hand you over a check for $10,000 or whatever, do I know exactly what I'm paying for when I hand that check over, or it's just installment payments for the overall project?
Well, it depends on what we discuss. So if we discuss installment payments for the overall project, and that would be outlined from the beginning, and so then you would know, just like any
Mm-hmm.
other person you owe money to, that you have an installment
Mm-hmm.
that's due about this particular time, or we've established when you were going to pay that and how you were going to pay that.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you have paid outright for something, then you would get that. So say, for instance, if you are buying a house plan, as soon as you pay for it, after we have gotten that, sent and mailed in from the architect, if
Uh-huh.
if the design has been altered,
Mm-hmm.
if it's straight from the website, then some of those you can actually download some things. But then that's what you get. You know what I'm saying? So it just depends on what it is that you are purchasing, and what service we are supplying, providing for you, and we would establish that up front. And
Okay.
so to avoid any legal issues, because again, like we said, we had experienced legal issues.
Mm-hmm.
We created this company to alleviate those kinds of stresses and pressures from people who were coming, that were kind of totally completely ignorant to the process, or
Mm-hmm.
Canadians who have already been taken in the midst of the process. So we try to alleviate that kind of stress and pressure, and just to make sure that, okay, this is clear, this is what we've agreed on, and this is the service that you're going to get, and this is how much that is. This is the question for that, the payment for that.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. Trying to think of what other questions I've had. You were like hitting most of my points just in explaining things. Can you talk a little bit about, I think, I'm not sure if you mentioned this, but like what are some of the challenges like diasporans, or particularly those of us from America, have faced in like trying to build there? I know you mentioned that, making sure that the property is owned by the person that you're purchasing from. Can you talk about that? Just
Yeah. I think that is something that's common for African Americans or as well as Ghanaians coming over. You just need to verify that the property that someone is trying to sell you is actually something that they have possession of and they are the rightful owners of it and they can sell it to you.
Mm-hmm.
And, you do that by going to the land commission. If you're here, then that's going to be difficult if you don't have somebody on the ground that you trust.
Mm-hmm.
And instances we have had people that they said, well, yeah, this is the property, this is the one that we were going to get, and this is what we brought, but then they didn't check and follow up. And so that would be, I think, the biggest hurdle, making sure that you're connected to the right people that would be able to advise you regarding if this land is actually for sale, and then them helping you acquire the proper documentation to obtain it. You know what I'm saying? I think that's the biggest thing. Other than Ghana is a very welcoming country. Every time that we go, I feel like I'm at home. And most of the time when you leave, they know that you're from, America, or they say Obroni or whatever.
Right.
But they have, it's an overwhelming sense of community. And you're instantly embraced and you're welcomed. And usually they're just welcome home, And so for us, this is one place that I learned when I first visited. And I want to say we've been married for 16 years. In 2000 and something, it was like I had returned home, and they celebrated me. I was celebrated. My children were celebrated. And I think that's one of the things that that people need to know, that the Ghanaian government has been running a campaign pretty much to get us back. Those of us in the Caribbean, those of us in America, those of us in the UK, to get us to come back and to invest. And their sole purpose for doing that is because they want to have African Americans to put a stake in the ground and say, become a stakeholder in Ghana. And it's not something that's new. I mean, Kwame Nkrumah, the first president, Ghana was known for kind of saying the same things. I mean, supporting Marcus Garvey's views, and then also Du Bois, his views as well. And he had a house there.
Right.
So we have a lot of people who have been holding this banner and saying, come back. And so with the year of the return in 2019, you saw that the current president is really serious, and the Ghana tourism ministry is very serious about getting us to invest, because they're trying to get other countries, specifically like China, out, because they're not, they will bring in their own people to build, and they won't hire any Ghanaians, and then they kind of, leave and then take whatever they want, and then they're gone. But they want us to come in, invest in the country, because it's part of us. We're part of them. They're part of us. And so, and a sense of community. And so it's different. So we're celebrated. So in that regard, the only hurdle I see really is just understanding where you're going to get your property from. Is this truly for sale? And finding a company that's going to walk you through the process and ensure that you don't get taken, So that's really one of the things, because with anything you have situations like that. Right. Somebody might take you for it. And that's how we, started this company, because that was our that happened to us. So
I completely understand. And that's such a viable thing. And I keep hearing that story over and over about making sure that the property, you're buying the property from the rightful owner. But I have not ran across many people like like you guys, kind of house plans, in terms of saying that we can kind of bridge that hurdle for you. You know what I mean? It's like people say, yeah, you have to be careful. You have to be careful. Like, what does that mean? How am I going to be careful? I mean,
Right.
everybody can
Explain it. What is the process? What do I need to do? How do I
exactly.
protect myself? Right. Yeah. So that's how we learned.
Yeah, yeah. So how do you guys, like, if I wanted to purchase from you guys or work with you guys, like, how would I do the payments? Is that like a cash thing with you all, or credit? Like, how would that work?
So everything's done through, you can do it through our website,
Uh-huh.
and pay for whatever services it is that you are interested in. And it's simple like that. Just pretty much just like anything else. Pretty much use the website and make a purchase using your, credit. It could also be attached to your a debit if you're not a credit person per se,
Hmm.
or whatever. So there are other options.
Okay.
And if you're in Ghana, it's different as well, because then you would go to the bank and we would do the transaction at the bank to make sure that everything is legit.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, I'm just looking through my questions and see. Um, what advice would you give to anybody who's interested in purchasing? I mean, like building in Ghana. What would be your top two or three things, or maybe there's just one thing that you give them? What advice would you give them?
Well, one of the things I would say is that it's something that I feel that is important to own land.
Hmm.
Land never goes out of style.
Hmm.
And if you are unable to do it yourself, then gather maybe two or three people that you trust. We have several plans. One of our popular plans is a 10-bedroom house, the
Wow.
full plan, and it's 10 bedrooms. It also has a guest house, and each bedroom it's pretty much an en suite. Each bedroom, something like that. If you had two or three friends, I mean, the plan is like maybe like 7,000. I believe that plan is 7,000 or so. Um,
Uh-huh.
if you have two or three friends that you could get together and invest and start working and building towards that. Even if you were not building it for yourself to move in, you have created some wealth in a sense of people you could rent it out, you could turn it to bed and breakfast, you can, you
Wow.
know, and you would always have a place to stay. You would not only increase your wealth and opportunities, but then you would also empower some people that are there that
Hmm.
unfortunately, the way the educational system is in Ghana, if you don't pass a particular test, you can't go to college. And there are a whole lot of smart people that are just by the road selling things
Wow.
because their opportunities are limited. But what we do is we employ a lot of these young men, young women, to come in and help and manage the properties, help us with the building and that process and things of that sort. So I would just say, even if you don't have the money right now, get together, have a discussion, have a family discussion as a family and say, how much money can we pull together to get to purchase some land, to get the process started, purchase the land, secure the land, build your wall, your gate first, because that's usually what we do. That's what we suggest for people would do, and
Hmm.
then acquire the plan, just a little bit at a time. In the end, you would own it. It could be something that your family owns. It could be something that a few families together have owned. And then, if as you're generating wealth while you're renting it out, you can go and start another one. You understand what I'm saying? And it's a process. Um, the Ghanaian government is really welcoming people, investors, business owners, to come in and be a part of this and break ground. And there are a lot of opportunities for us to build there and rebuild and reestablish ourselves and
Hmm. Hmm.
our families there. So that's one of the things that I really would say. I said to just do it. If you can't do it right now, if you don't feel like you have the finances, then gather three people that you trust or have the discussion as a whole family. How much can we invest? how much can we invest in our future in establishing security for us and financial freedom for us, you
Right.
know, and a place for us to go where we can easily catch a cab anywhere and nobody's gonna say nothing to us.
Wow. I love the 10-bedroom idea. That is like fantastic. I love that idea. Wow. I never would have thought about that in a million. Although having real estate is something that we're definitely thinking about. Well, we want to get our own place first. But that 10-bedroom, that's like everything.
It's huge.
Awesome.
It's huge, and it's like 2 pools and all. I mean, it's a mini hotel. So you
Wow.
can easily do that and just and that's one of our popular plans, which is I was like, wow, who's building this? This is amazing.
Wow. And
And
you
then
built a 10-bedroom like this in Ghana?
yeah, one of our clients is, that's one of our popular plans. And so we were just like, wow, this is amazing. And then the other one is the Mensa plan, which is like, if you go to the website, the first 3 are the main 3 plants that people have really been purchasing. A lot of the newer plants people are starting to get into. Again, that's a lot of the new architects, architectural design. So it looks a lot more modern. So people are kind of like, oh, okay. And you're starting to see a lot of more, condos and things pop up in the city. And Abalimpe is where you'll see a lot of that. And that's where you'll see a
That's
lot of it's near the airport. You'll see a lot of the more modern looks, and it's beautiful. It's fabulous. Again, even though it's modern, it's still stone. It still has all of the right and the goodness in it.
okay.
But those first 3 plants have been really popular, and then a lot of the newer plants are starting to, become more popular with Americans who are coming over.
Okay.
More into the modernized condo-ish looking
Right.
houses.
Yeah. Yeah. I want a courtyard house. That's what, and I think I saw one on something similar on you guys' website. But that's kind of what I envision, which courtyards is kind of something that's traditional Ghanaian.
Right.
I really want a courtyard. That's kind of when I envision building my house, that's kind of what I'm thinking about building. Because I just like nature, and I'm like having a courtyard that's like right in the center of my house. That's like my ultimate.
Mm-hmm.
What about if you wanted to build like in a kind of a rural area? Because I kind of want to be out a little bit. So what about people who are maybe interested in building out in a rural area? Is that something that you guys can still do? Like if we wanted to build in a small town or village in Kumasi, which is where we're going to be looking.
Mm-hmm.
Does that work? I mean,
We definitely build all over Ghana.
mhm.
The only thing is we need to make sure that the supplies are closer because travel is a big deal.
Right.
Petrol is extremely expensive.
Okay, that makes sense.
It's double the price that it is here. It's price gouging pretty much. So
Wow.
for them, even though people say, well, $100 here, goes a long way there, but my
Right.
$100 to me is the same as their $100 to them,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm,
It's not
mhm,
different to
mhm.
them. It means the same, right?
Right.
Um, but unfortunately, a lot of the prices are more. So if, for instance, if you're further out and we don't have a supplier that's closer, and then in order
Mhm.
to transport those supplies, it's going to cost more and gas. And so in certain things like that, they may cause the price to go up, but that's understandable. Um,
Right.
the price of the house is the same, but
Uh-huh.
the, costs that we would have to that we would incur regarding like getting our people there.
Mhm.
9 times out of 10, we again try to use the locals in that particular area,
Right.
which is helpful.
Uh-huh.
And Kumasi is home to is a family our family home. Traditionally, they're from Kumasi, so
Mhm.
that wouldn't be hard to make the connections. And
Your
then
husband family's
yes,
okay.
from Kumasi,
Mhm. Mhm.
yes. So yeah, so that again, those types of things, would we would only consider the cost of transporting supplies, and again,
Mhm.
we just have to
Mhm.
take into consideration where we can acquire them,
Okay.
and proximity to the property that we're building.
Okay. Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Okay, I'm just gonna breeze through my questions real quick. Um, uh, 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 uh. do you see like any trends in terms of trends in real estate in Ghana? I mean, I know a lot of diasporans are moving there,
Yeah,
but and I,
absolutely.
mhm. And I know you also mentioned like the more kind of condo kind of
Yeah,
buildings. Okay.
that's something that we saw the last time we were there, popping up all over the place. And like I said, closer to the airport, if you go throughout those neighborhoods, you will see um, it would look it looks very north side of Chicago-ish.
Really? In a car, right?
Yeah. North side of Chicago-ish, I would say, because you have a lot of store fronts, you have a lot of little cafe kind of things. You have, so it's beautiful. It's
Okay.
beautiful. It is absolutely beautiful. What is happening? A lot of people who have come over are investing. A lot of Ghanaians who are living in Europe have started to build more, and you're seeing a lot of the more modern kind of condo building high up
Uh-huh.
um, houses and opportunities. And friends of mine have already, secured condos and things like that. And so that's what we're seeing a lot
Okay.
of. And then we are seeing a lot of folks coming from America. I mean, in 2019, I think their tourism was up like 45%, and from the normal, mostly came from here, and so you're seeing a lot of us come over and put our stake in the ground and just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. And with this
the folks
pandemic,
are not coming back; they're staying.
yeah, you know what? I keep telling my guy, he keeps like, I don't know if we're gonna live there indefinitely. I'm like, I'm leaving here. I'm tired of all of this craziness and just wanting some peace, like you say, and have a stake in what's going on over there. You know what I mean? While we still
Absolutely,
can,
everything's
because at some
better. It's like,
point that may be the case.
yeah, your skin gets
Yeah.
better, the food is better. It's amazing. Like a lot of people with allergies that typically have allergies here, like for instance, pineapple. We can't eat a whole lot of pineapple, but when you go over there, you can eat it without any irritation or any problems. A lot of it is because the food
Wow.
does not have the same, all of the things that are added to our food. So
Right.
there's so many different benefits health wise. I dealt with migraines and different things like that, but whenever I go there, I never ever feel like that. Sinus
Wow.
issues, I don't feel like that when I'm there. So the air is different, and
Yeah.
so it's so many different benefits. Again, you are welcomed, and people treat you and they celebrate you. They celebrate who you are, and um, you know, you're not villainized, because of the color of your skin. It's like,
Right. It's like
wow,
everybody looks like you, right?
everybody looks like us. It's like, what? This is amazing. So it's just a great opportunity, even if you're just an investor or if you're someone who is trying to look, to secure a home for retirement,
Uh-huh.
or just trying to have a family home to visit 3 months out of the year, and rent it out the rest of the months, and then acquire, more wealth in that sense. So
Right.
there's so many different reasons why people are doing it, but we are seeing a lot of African Americans strictly coming from, here, building and acquiring land and property.
Can I ask you one? I'm gonna ask you one other question before I let you go. How does one? Because I know the majority of the land is delegated by the chiefs. So how do I? I'm just a regular, Jane. How do I go there and like find out? Know who the chief is. You know what I
Well,
mean?
a lot of land now is has been purchased by businesses and investors, and so people are offering plots. And so what we try to do is acquire some of those plots for
Okay.
our clients. Um, so we've done that in the past, and that's what we have gotten for ourselves.
Hmm.
Those particular pieces have already gone through the process and been secured. And so we don't typically, at this point, rely upon the chiefs in a sense. It just depends on the area that you're in.
Okay.
So the more metro, the area is, you have less instances of that. So it just depends on where you are.
Okay. That's really interesting. I can see that, so it seems like there's an entity that's, realized, okay, this property is of value. So they've went and allocated it or gotten it from the chiefs. And now they're, kind of like the middle person between, the chief and the potential buyer, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. In some instances, absolutely. People are looking at, and then some people are just selling their land.
Wow.
That they've owned. And so you just follow up and make sure that it can be sold.
I'm going to ask you one other question, and I have another question just pops in my mind. How do you gauge how is it gauged, like what one piece of land is worth versus what another piece of land is worth? Do you guys know that? Is it like it is here, location, location, location? It just seems like it's hit and miss in terms of what a piece of property might cost in Ghana. You know what I mean?
Well, East Legon is going to be a little bit more, in certain areas are going to be, you've got certain areas where it's almost established in a sense, where you have a lot of houses and people have already built up that area. And some of the roads have been paved. You know what I'm saying? So area where your roads are not paved as well, you're going to be able to buy up that property probably quicker in a sense, or it'll be less expensive in a sense, because you're going to be required to kind of pave your way into your property.
Right.
Because it's not like here where when they build a community, they just build the roads. They don't build the roads.
Right.
But a lot of the newer communities that are being established, they're taking that into account because they're trying to appeal to, the Western world and say, hey, we want them to come. They're not going to come up. They got to come with this mountain with all the rocks.
Right. And there's no road.
They're mess up their cars, right? So, but Ghanaians, they want the opportunity to just have the house, so they're good, right? So yeah.
Okay, and my last question for you is, are there any areas that you would recommend, African Americans look into in terms of Ghana? What areas would you?
Well, East Legon is a great one. Tema is nice. Abalempe is my favorite because it's close to the airport, and it's close to my favorite nephew. And and our family, and I'm very familiar with that area.
Okay.
So those areas are good. If you are looking to still be close, the area where Bojo Beach is, it's my mother-in-law lives over there. It's close to the ocean, and so that is still available, not as expensive as some of the other places, but eventually it's going to start going because they're trying to expand that coastline. You know what I'm saying? And eventually it's going to be hard to get. If you can get your hands on that area, absolutely, because we have a piece of property over there now that is gated around, and then some of our family members are building their house on the other side of it. So we've secured 2 plots. So it's a good area to get in because they're still advancing developments over there, not as quickly as right in Abalempe or Tema or East Legon, but this particular area is close to the ocean, and it's a great place to go. If you can get into it now, it's still beautiful. It's like Bojo Beach. They have a resort over there. Every time we go back, this resort is expanding. And so we're watching these developments every time we go back, the coastline is starting to look a little bit more appealing to tourists. You know what I'm saying? So unfortunately, some other companies have come in to build, right? We want to build there. When I say we, I mean us.
Hang on just a second.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry. I couldn't hear you.
Yeah, we want to build, you know what I'm saying? And we want to take, employ Ghanaians. And we want, you know what I'm saying? That's what the government is trying to do. And the Ministry of Tourism for Ghana. They're trying to, you know, get us to come over and be a part of that.
Okay.
That's a great area, honestly, because
Both
it's
your beats. I'm
not
gonna
a
go look it up.
whole lot of folks over there, but it's great opportunity.
I'm gonna go look it up. As soon as we get finished talking, I'm gonna go look it up. Because I was looking around Volta region and
That's like northern.
yeah, and what was the other one? Aburi?
Yeah, so you're looking like on the outskirts kind of more so,
Yeah,
which is
yeah,
great. However, when you think about because I mean, most people who are from Kumasi, they have a house in Kumasi, but they may also have something family, like a family house in Kumasi, but they almost also may have something in Accra. So
right,
you just want to take those kinds of things in consideration,
right.
right? For us, we have family house in Kumasi, but we also have a family house in Ho, which is like a couple of hours outside of Ghana. And then we also have a family house in Echeve, which is several hours outside, and that's like in the villages, in the sense where when you're walking it's all sand, like completely,
Right.
but there are big compounds that are there, so you just want to take in consideration what it is you're trying to do. Initially, I would suggest, you kind of, stay out but not too far out, what I mean. And opportunities, like I said, near Bossier Beach are great right now.
So would you say Kumasi is too far?
Well, Kumasi is a world in all of itself.
I
So,
keep hearing.
you know what I'm saying? It's a world in all of itself. So it's
Yeah.
like being in a different state in a sense. You know what I mean? So it's okay if that's what you want. You want to be there. That's totally fine because it's a world all within itself. So
Right. Okay.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah. You wouldn't be missing any. You're gonna see. It's different, but it's its own world.
Right. Yeah, I hear you. Well, you know what? Thank you so much. I
You're
really
welcome.
enjoy, because this is just, and these are so many questions that I've had. And I know, and I've had conversations with different, African American people from the diaspora who want to move there. And people always, but they never, only thing you keep hearing online is like, you better be careful, who you buy, you know what I mean? But like we talked about earlier, how do I be careful?
Right.
So, but it seems like, your company, you and your husband's company could help with that, facilitate some of that. So I'm sure some people will be coming your way, like me and my guy. But thank you so much. I really, really appreciate it. You answered all of my questions, and I wish you guys the best of luck, you and your husband.
Thank you so much. You too.
And we will be in touch.
Absolutely.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to sign out and say bye here.
Okay.
All right. Okay. Bye. Thank you again. Okay. Bye.